Hi everyone, welcome back to Sheri Approved. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I usually ask, and I really do mean it, how are you guys doing? I hope you are checking with your family and friends, just making sure that they are okay. We are almost the end of 2020. Could you believe December is upon us? Like, wow, my goodness, what a year, what a year. There have been a lot of tears shed, but I know for a lot of people there were also a lot of celebration, a lot of joy, and it has been a year that I would not skip, but that's another story. It has been a very, very interesting year, and I am just grateful that we have gotten to this point. So in today's video, I want to share on something that I don't know if you guys have heard about, but today we are going to talk about the skincare sandwich method. Have you guys ever heard about this? And no, we're not talking about bread, we're not talking about carbs, we're not talking about food. We are talking about skincare, but there is such a thing. Now, mind you, your girl did not know that this is what it was called. This is actually what we're actually talking about today is an actual technique when it comes to the application of your skincare, how you layer your skincare. And it's something that I have actually been doing because in practice, in trial and error, it was just something that I realized worked for me, and it has been working so for quite a number of years, and I've just been doing it. I've actually been recommending it to people, not knowing that somebody actually coined a name for this. So yeah, so let's, take it from brass tacks, and coming up the road, you all will see why it is I'm saying that this is something that I've been doing. And really, it has had a real positive impact on my skin, and it may have one on yours as well. And perhaps some of you may understand why I have been recommending to you in, your very personalized skincare routines and so on, why I have been recommending certain things. So, what is the skincare sandwich, and I can't even pronounce that properly, method? Okay, what it is really, it's about layering your products for optimal hydration to lead to good skin health. And the thing that I noticed in terms of the why I do it is reduced skin irritation. And you're like, okay, what are you talking about? All right, so in general, we know when it comes to layering products, especially in your skincare routine, you have a ton of things and you want to try to figure out like where to put what. We have a general rule where we go from thinnest to thickest. Now, that's a general rule because there are some products, depending on the type of product that they are, it may not fall within those, that dimension in terms of those rules. But in general, we go from thinnest to thickest in terms of the application of products. And that's why you'd find that the products that you will apply earlier in your skincare routine are more runny, very thin, they're watery, that kind of thing. And as you get into serums, it gets a little bit thicker. And then, of course, your creams and your oils. There is a reason for that. But of course, a lot of us who probably follow Kbeauty, Asian beauty, and so on know that the Koreans, they have this 10-step thing. For a lot of people, that's way too much. And I could understand that. I have done the 10 steps. I don't always do it, but I do follow certain principles that they use in terms of their skincare routine. But there is a reason for that, and a reason that they do a lot of the things that they do. Now, one of the things I'm still trying to convince some of my oily skin girls especially is to hydrate and layer layers of hydration. And some people, when they message me still, and I'm like, you're not using a moisturizer, you should, because you want to make sure that your skin not only has enough water, but you want to be able to retain that moisture. And for some people, they may have a skin type or a skin condition called where the skin is dry, or the dryness of the skin, which has to do with a lack of oil in the skin. But there are also people with dehydrated skin, which has to do with a lack of water in the skin. And a lot of people with oily skin are actually dehydrated, which is why the skin may tend to produce extra sebum. But of course, while this whole technique may have originated in Asia, because these people have been doing it for a long time, and if we look generally at their skin, you would see that there is this glow. And a lot of people ask me about the glow. Now, there are a lot of things that contribute to the glow, but I'm telling you, if you start hydration and you do it consistently, remember, this is not something that I have been doing overnight or just for a few months. I have been doing this for a good few years now, and the results are starting to show. I mean, they've started to show a while now, but a lot of people ask me, like, how can I get that glow? And they just started a skincare routine like 2 months ago. Stick to it, just be consistent. You are going to see results. Now, the sandwich method really has to do with how you layer hydration, and there are a few reasons for it. Now, for some people, what they actually do is they layer, and they layer slowly. So they put one product on, they wait for that product to completely be absorbed into the skin, then they go in with the next layer of the whichever other product that they're going to do. They wait for that to be absorbed, then they go in with the next layer of whatever else they're going to do. That method actually works for a couple reasons. One, if you find that you are having issues with skincare pilling on your skin, doing that is actually going to reduce that. Number two, the other thing that helps is that you allow your skin to really absorb the ingredients of that first product before you go in with the second product, and then the second product, and before you go in with the third. So you're really allowing your skin to really drink that in and take its time to do so. However, using this particular way of doing the sandwich method could take up a little bit more time, and I just want you to keep that in mind, because it may not be something that's very, very practical when it comes to doing it like every day. But if you do find that there are certain parts of your skincare routine or certain products that you have issues in terms of absorption or layering, just give it a little bit extra time and then go with the other product, and you might see a difference. The thing for me, however, that I realized is that by using this method, which again has to do with how I layer hydration, my skincare routine, has reduced my risk of skincare irritation. So a lot of you may hear that I talk about, like, on my nights with actives, whether it is retinol or acids, that I layer hydration before and after. And that's why I call that my sandwich, because I would put my active between layers of hydration, and therefore the risk of anything happening in terms of being too irritating to my skin is kind of buffered. For some people, that might mean like, oh my goodness, but you're not allowing the full strength of the product to get into your skin. The thing about it is I'm very consistent with my skincare routine. So if I'm doing this consistently, I will get results, and I have gotten results. And that's one of the reasons, like, I have never gotten irritation with retinol. I have barely ever gotten irritation when it comes to acids, and even how I graduated in terms of the strengths, because I always sandwich, especially the stronger products, between layers of hydration. Now, you could do the sandwich method with different types of products and in different ways. So you could use mists, you could use essences, you could do it with serums, you could do it with moisturizers. So I just want to go through 3 possible ways in which you could do it, and it does not have to include buying a ton of products. You can actually do it with one product, and therefore you can have this one item in your skincare routine that's going to help you sandwich. Okay, so the first option in terms of using one product is an example of that is like a mist. So Caroline Herons actually does this a lot, and she was one of the people that pushed this particular type or this particular way of doing the sandwich method, in that she recommends misting your skin after each after each layer, after each step, I should say. So after you cleanse, and if maybe you've exfoliated, done a mask, whatever, mist the skin, go in with your essence, and then you mist again, go in with your serum, then you mist again, go in with your moisturizer. And if you're one of those people that even after you put all your cheese, your I don't know, your meats, all your veggies, whatever, inside your sandwich, and you still need to put some sauce on top, then you can mist again. That last part is not necessary, but you get the idea. The concept is that you are putting hydration at every level. Especially, let me give you a tip here. A lot of products today have hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid is an amazing ingredient, but for it to work properly, it needs water. It needs water molecules to bind to. Now, you could get our water molecules if you layer your products on damp skin, which I've always recommended. But can you imagine if you put on your serum or your essence or your moisturizer, and those products have hyaluronic acid in it, and you give your face a mist of whichever mister you decide to use, that it's going to have something extra to hold on to, that's going to take your skincare routine to the next level. What kind of mist you use? If you want to use regular water, you can. But I mean, there are so many lovely skincare mists that you can use that have lovely ingredients. So you get the option of hydration, but in a really beautiful mister form. Another way of doing this method with one product is through the use of essences. And I've spoken about this a lot. However, this particular way is using the option or using the method of skins. So whereas with a mister, you would mist after your toner, mist after your essence, mist after your serum, etc. Using an essence to do this, what you do is you actually do several layers of essence before going to your serum step. So I know this sounding like a lot, right? But just follow me here. So what you do essentially is the place where you would apply your essence, which is after your toner. You take some essence into your hand, you pat it into your skin. Wait a couple seconds, let your skin just drink that in. And I did a recent post on Instagram where I talked about the fact that you could actually use the more runny essences, a lot of the fermented extracts and so on to do this method because they absorb into the skin a lot faster. So after a few seconds, you pour again. You pat into your skin. You allow your skin to take it in. After a few seconds, you pour again. You pat it into your skin and you allow it. You could do this up to 7 times. And they actually call this the skin method. A lot of people do 7 skins. In general, I could do up to 3. And how much skins your skin can take will actually depend on the type of skin that you have. And your skin will tell you, just listen to it. And that's why I'm telling you, you wait a little bit before you apply the next. You will feel if your skin drinks up all of that, it can go again, you know, literally. So what that did is that just gave you a nice, lovely layer of hydration before you go in with your serum, and that's especially helpful if you are using retinol or an acid serum or something that's really strong. That's going to give you a buffer, but it's also going to give you a little bit of hydration. Now that being said, if you also want to reduce reduce irritation when you are going to use retinol, you want to make sure that those essences or whatever is fully absorbed into the skin, and then you go in with your product. So what I just described for you are 2 methods of doing this sandwich method, or layering hydration using one product. Now let's talk about how we could do it with more than one product. So using essences as well, you could layer more than one essence. So in the first method, you could do many layers of the same essence. Another option is you could have different essences that work nicely together and you could layer them. So maybe you start with a thin runny one and then you go on to a thicker one. It all depends. So again, you can see that you could do this in many ways. So that's one of the ways that you could use multiple products. Another way that you can do it, which is the way I do it and how this is my sandwich really, is I will go in with at least 2 to 3 layers of essences after I tone. Then I go in with my serum, whichever serum is my active for that night, whether it is an acid serum or a retinol, which is generally what I'm rotating. I will go in with that on my skin, and after that I will layer again another hydrating serum. And there are so many. You could choose something that has peptides, something that has probably antioxidants. There's some antioxidants that work really nicely at night. You could choose something that's full of honey, propolis, I don't know, green tea. There's so many options in terms of nice hydrating serums that will add something extra to your skin. And generally you will find, like, if I do nighttime routines, I will layer my essences, put my active, and then I will layer another hydrating serum. Do you need to do all that? You probably don't, but that's just how I sandwich, and it has really worked well for me. After that, I will go in with my moisturizer. And finally, one of the other things that could also help you, which has also been noted in terms of reducing irritation, is if you are starting especially active serums, maybe you're going to start glycolic acid, lactic acid serums, or maybe even retinol, and you're a little bit afraid because you don't know if it's going to create irritation on your skin, there is something that dermatologists actually recommend, which is either mixing that product into your moisturizer. So you would have already probably put some essences, put some hydration in your skin, but you could mix your active serums into your moisturizer and apply it. That's going to give your skin a little bit of a buffer. Or in some cases, you can even apply that retinol or that active after your moisturizer. Now, you could imagine that that moisturizer is actually going to prevent some of that product from getting through. But that's the whole concept, to prevent irritation, especially if you're starting and you're really afraid and you don't want to go in directly. That's something that you could probably consider. I don't do that, but I'm just letting you know that that's possible. But yeah, have you guys tried the sandwich method, the skincare sandwich method, in any form or fashion? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Has it changed your skin? What has it done for you? And if you haven't, is it something that you're probably going to give a try to see if it's going to take your skincare to the next level? I'll see you guys soon in another video. Bye.